This is helpful for learners to understand so they can identify themselves as creative and imaginative beings in relation to their peers, or to simply recognize themselves as being imaginative within the creative process. Likewise, it assists educators in understanding and recognizing that imagination can be represented in ways that make sense for the learners within the developmental stage.
The curriculum should enable pupils to think creatively and critically, to solve problems and to make a difference for the better. It should give them the opportunity to become creative, innovative, enterprising and capable of leadership to equip them for their future lives as workers and citizens.
Creativity is limited to arts subjects. Although creativity is often associated with creative subjects, such as art and music, creativity is not subject-specific. Creativity is a way of approaching problem-solving that can be exercised in different areas. On the other hand, creativity does not take place in a vacuum. The way in which children express creativity will be different in different curriculum areas.
To be original or to have originality is a facet of imagination that requires individuals to use their imagination to develop new ideas, thoughts or products that are original to the creator. Although, an important consideration here is, each child's creative abilities can be related to his or her personal stage of development. Therefore, it is crucial to understand that being imaginative or original may look different at different stages of learning and growth. Paget shares similar views to Cropley in that creativity as a product or an outcome generates complications due to changing standards of a belief system, judgments that may vary culturally or societally, or the relevance of a product may not become apparent right away.
Within the past year, my school has had a change of headship, and with this change brings the use of the Essential Skills curriculum by Chris Quigley, which covers all the national curriculum subjects with exceeding skills to develop the depth of children's learning. Currently, my school's curriculum follows a thematic approach to teaching and learning anchored with a core text connected to the theme and with subjects integrated, linking it all back together.
From an educational point of view, in the 21st century, educators are preparing students to become a contributing member in a rapidly changing society, so creativity may be viewed with an influence on the human capital approach. Worthy of highlighting, as is it Sharp, who suggests that creativity is the ability to produce an outcome of value and worth. Therefore, the outcome could be producing products or nurturing creative people, which in our current competitive capitalistic economy could be seen as an asset.
About 5 years ago, I began teaching at a 5-form entry primary school in East London as a Year 2 teacher with my own classroom responsibilities. Last year, I took on the role as learning leader for Year 2, and therefore I am responsible for supporting the academic development and well-being of roughly 130 children and assisting colleagues to ensure teacher standards are met to a high degree.
The creative process is fun, it should not be taken too seriously. Creativity may seem like a fun, self-indulgent activity to counteract the more serious work of the classroom. But the creative process presents many challenges. It requires concentration, persistence and determination to succeed. It may in fact be a frustrating and difficult process. Creativity deserves to be taken seriously.
Acting in this manner involves trust in the process, in oneself to take risks, and in the congenial learning environment that respects both. Though historically, from my learning experience, learners are often given or receiving information to acquire skills and knowledge, which consequently restricts freedom to lead learning autonomously in their own direction with their own imaginative process to make learning more meaningful.
While there is a body of research into the impact of artists in school schemes, the role of artists in encouraging young children's creativity has not yet been well researched. In other words, although the involvement of professional artists and creative workers has considerable potential to be helpful, we do not have research evidence to say what kinds of involvement may have the greatest impact on creativity. Children find it easy to transfer learning from one domain to another. All the evidence shows that most children find it very difficult to transfer learning from one area to another. Knowledge and skills are so context-specific that children may simply fail to recognize that something they had already learned can be applied to a new situation. Adults can help children to make the connection.
Adults, therefore, can act as supporters and coaches, facilitators and models of creativity for children. But on the other hand, adults also have the potential to stifle opportunities for creativity by being overly didactic or prescriptive. They can limit creativity by discouraging fantasy or by having low expectations about what young children are able to achieve. The Arts Council of England asked the NFER to summarize recent research and theory on creativity in early childhood. The work entailed a selective review of research and theory published between 1988 and 2000 and resulted in a briefing paper on the subject. This article sets out to update the earlier paper and to identify some of the principles involved in helping young children to develop their creativity in early years settings. Definitions of creativity are not straightforward, and many writers have contributed to the debate about what constitutes creativity, often hotly contesting different views. However, most theorists agree that the creative process involves a number of components. These definitions have been welcomed as giving recognition to the importance of creativity and the role of education in encouraging creative development. The appearance of creativity as an aim of the curriculum in England is part of a trend to recognize the importance of creativity internationally.
There is a balance to be struck here, because insisting on extensive knowledge and skill development can be stultifying. On the other hand, knowledge and skill are fundamental to creativity. Existing knowledge of the world is a starting point for young children's play.
Creativity is another term that people attach word meanings to, but it can be difficult to define concisely into a single definition as the depth of understanding behind it is more complex. As thought-provokingly suggests, the lens in which creativity is viewed is always evolving depending on societal or cultural changes. Therefore, answering, "What is creativity?" may reflect what is valuable or relevant in that moment in time to the people or persons. Highlighting this potential barrier sheds light to Egan's statement on being imaginative within education, as a process is intended to stimulate the ability to visualize situations, events or outcomes different to those that already exist currently or in the past. If learners become too reliant on educators giving information consequently, it requires them to think less, which stunts active, critical and creative thinking.